Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and I wish I was coming here with better news, but as I woke up this morning and was browsing my depression rectangle as everyone does, I saw some bad news biscuits, baby. The worst kept secret in gaming at the moment, after the Switch 2 of course, is the fact that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 are being remade in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4. So it must be 7. Not entirely surprising, 1 plus 2 were really well received, and after 1 and 2, 3 and 4 make sense. And 4 especially holds a particularly special place in my heart, because that's the one I grew up with. I didn't play 1 or 3 or even 2 when I was growing up, I played 4. It should be here somewhere. Why the hell didn't I put these in alphabetical order? Here it is. This is my original copy from when I was just a wee nipper, and I loved this game to death. It was so rebellious, it was so American, it was so different to the world that I lived in. And it was utterly intoxicating. I wasn't even that big into skateboarding, but just the cool that oozed out of this thing, I'm never gonna forget it. So a remake should be a cause for celebration, shouldn't it? Especially when it's bundled with 3, never played that one. What's that gonna be like? Well, unfortunately, the big thing that makes Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, unlike the other games, is the career mode. The career mode is very different. It's kind of open, well, it's not really open world, but it's free roaming. You skate around, you find people who give you missions, they're voice acted, and they'll say, hey, collect the skate letters, hey, collect the combo letters, hey, something else. You do those missions, you unlock new missions, you get money. It's a standard progression idea. It's not exactly outlandish, but it hadn't, as far as I know, been done. It certainly hadn't been done before within Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And in this wonderful remake of 3 and 4, they have ditched that entirely. Basically, 95, all right, maybe not 95, but maybe like 70% of the identity of 4 over all the other games is the career mode. And they're just not doing it. From what we understand, there will still be a free roam mode, meaning you can just go around at your leisure and just have fun, but the whole point was that it added context to the world. You weren't just free roaming before, you were free roaming in order to progress. You could take your time, enjoy the sights, but also then do these little challenges. It was a great way to change the pace of the whole game, and they've just got rid of it. I know why they've done it, because it's a hell of a lot easier, isn't it, to just slap the maps in and have the same gameplay from 1, 2, and 3 and just say, oh, you know, get the combo letters or whatever they're going to be putting in there. I imagine there are going to be some of the same missions. I would bloody hope so anyway. But the way you're going to do it is you go in with the time limit and you've got tasks to complete. That's not Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. That's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, 2, and 1 in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4's maps. It's not the same thing. I have so many fond memories of this game with my friends, to the point I still remember off by heart the cheat code to unlock everything because I was a cheating little sausage. I still remember it, and it came in dead handy when getting footage for this video. And speaking of the footage, you may well have noticed that I am not very good at the game, and that's absolutely true. I am not a great representative of the good player base for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, or any Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game, frankly. But I do think I'm a good representative of someone who has an awful lot of fun with the game. Is that not important? Even if it's not, I don't care. I had fun just getting footage for this thing, and I had to stop myself in order to record this so that I could get this done today. This would be a shame just by itself if it weren't for the fact that the levels in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 are all designed around this very particular way of playing the game. So they're sort of bigger, more open, less kind of like linear or streamlined or anything like that. And so I don't know how that's going to translate into the older style of gameplay. Is it gonna even work? I mean, it'll probably work, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's completely broken, but it is kind of missing the point, you know? Some of the levels are massive and very difficult to navigate. Alcatraz, I can't use those shortcuts. I just don't know where they're gonna take me. I know that there is some logic to it, but I've never got my head around it, so I go up that hill every single time. And yes, we will still be able to free roam, skate around at our leisure, but That's missing the point. It was an interesting, different way to play these games. I didn't even appreciate that when I was younger either, because I never played 1 to 3, but even so, I could tell that there was something special going on here, and it may well be that there are plenty of people out there who prefer 1 to 3 as opposed to 4, and they feel that it's kind of bloated, or maybe it's kind of sort of too broken up, or it spreads things out too much. It doesn't make it as concentrated an experience. And that's fine, but if you're remaking the game, you keep that intact. You know, maybe trim some of the edges off, you know, sand some of the edges. I think I'm saying smooth off the corners. Do that? Fine. That's absolutely fine. But don't fundamentally change the game. If Nintendo announced that they were remaking Super Mario 64, but there was no Peach's Castle, no hub world, and when you went into a level, you just had a list of tasks to do rather than, you know, having to learn and understand. It wouldn't be Super Mario 64, really, at the end of the day. It certainly wouldn't be the same experience. Oh, and just to clear up in case anyone's wondering, this isn't just the Switch version. This is all of them, so it's not even like it's a Switch limitation like the original didn't come out on PlayStation 2 and GameCube. Presumably, it is just easier and cheaper to not pay voice actors to come in and do these little lines and to have this kind of free roaming mode. It's much easier to just make the map and then have the same structure and gameplay as the previous 3 games. But that's not Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, is it? I thought maybe I was overreacting when I first read this, and then I looked at the response from other people, and as far as I can tell, pretty universally, everyone's saying, what a stupid decision. There's a part of me that's hoping maybe they'll see this and they'll sort of go, okay, well, we'll integrate it in some way. But a much bigger part of me thinks they're just not gonna bother because it's so far along now. Because what is it coming in? June? July? July. The 11th of July. For me, 4 was brimming with charm. It was a little bit camp and a little bit silly, don't get me wrong, but that was part of the appeal. The fact that you got this drunk who's like, oh no, pink elephants and stuff like that. I don't think I've got footage of that, annoyingly. Maybe I'll have to go back. But it added context to you doing stuff. It sort of meant that this whole world was kind of revolving around skating. It was weird, it was bizarre, but it was what it was. It was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and if you're gonna remake it, remake it. Don't create something that looks like it. It's a real bloody shame to say the least. Let us know what you think about this ridiculous decision in the comments down below. We may have slightly primed you there. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you check out our subscribe button? It's just like the old one, except for we've taken away all the functionality that made it great. And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. I would say thank you so much for watching, but I'm a bit too annoyed. I'll still say it's not your fault. I shouldn't take it out on you.